So although I do love what the Houston Texans did in the draft, I think that you could have just done a little bit more. And I think giving up what you gave up for Will Anderson Jr. is just, it's like saying Will Anderson Jr. is going to be better than a magnitude of dudes. I mean, you gave up the 12th overall pick this year, 33rd overall pick, which was basically a first-round pick because the Dolphins didn't have a first-round pick. You gave up a first round of 2024, which is your own pick, and you gave up a third-round pick, and you got the third overall, and you got the 105th pick. And it just kind of, you know, it's like, man, that's a lot because in my opinion, with that 12th overall pick, you could have went with Jackson Smith and Jigba. You could have remade the Bengals with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. You could have had C.J. Stroud, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. And then that second-round pick, which is a very, very important pick, I think that this one was a big miss because you could have got B.J. Ojulari, and I think B.J. Ojulari is just, he's so dynamic, fast. He gets off the ball so fast. His hand placement, I mean, he does. That dude's ghost attacking. The dude is hand placement, his rip technique. He has all different kinds of techniques. His bend is just phenomenal. He's faster than Will Anderson as well. He's big. I'm not saying he's going to be better than Will Anderson, but I'm saying that if he's even 70% close, you could have gotten Jackson Smith and Jigba and a guy who's 70% close. I think BJ could possibly even be better. I'm really saying that. And I believe in him. He is a fantastic football player, and he is an Energizer Bunny. He lasts forever. So in the third round, if you got Jackson Smith and Jigba at the 12th, you could still trade up and get Tank Dell. It wouldn't have cost you that much. You could still do that. But really, I would have loved to see the Houston Texans finish it off with Trenton Simpson. You'd have got Trenton Simpson. You could, and then use those 2 first-round picks. Pick 2024, that's your own pick that you gave to the Cardinals. You could use that and the Browns pick, and you could have tried to go and get Marvin Harrison Jr., and you could have probably walked out this next year. You would have the trade currency to be able to do it. Crap, you Browns may do bad, or the Houston Texans might do bad, and you may be in contention, and you'd be able to get Marvin Harrison Jr. He's going to go second because Caleb Williams is going to go first, so he'll probably go second or in the top 4 at least, and you'll be in contention to be able to move up and go get him, which would be huge. You'd have C.J. Stroud, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. You'd have Trenton Simpson, B.J. Ojulari, and you would have you'd be in contention for Marvin Harrison Jr. or an equivalent of excellent talent. So to me, it was a bold one. It was really bold, and I hope it pans out for the Texans. I think saying that he's going to be better than those guys is it's not going to look good in the future. I don't think that's going to be the case. I will say that after watching the draft interviews of D'Amico Ryans and Nick Caserio, a feeling arose in me that Ryans and Caserio just seemed more excited when on the subject of Anderson Jr. and slightly less with Stroud. A part of me really hoped that love for him had nothing to do with Coach Ryans and Will Anderson Jr. being from the same school, Alabama. Little Roll Tide. To me, I had Jalen Carter as the most destructive defensive player in the draft, and even before any of the off-field stuff happened, I still don't think Carter would have been worth basically 3 first-round picks to get him, as the Texans traded for Anderson Jr. Ryans could have just loved him as much as he does because they are both defensive players, and Anderson Jr. is actually a great leader of men. He could possibly just relate with him more, which is understandable, and it just so happens they went to the same college. So I do love the Houston Texans draft, but what could they have done better? And let me know what you guys think about this down below. So for Will Anderson Jr., and I like Will Anderson Jr., there's a lot to like about him as a person and as a football player. But Will Anderson Jr., they traded so much to go up and get him. You gave the first-round pick in pick 12. You gave the 33rd overall pick, which, remember, there was only 31 picks, so that's technically another first-round pick. And you gave up a first round in 2024, which is the Houston Texans' current pick. So that's basically 3 first-round picks. So he's got to be better than 3 first-rounders, basically. Okay, and that's a steep one for me there. That's really steep. And then they gave up a third-round pick in 2024, I believe. And they got back the 3rd overall pick and the 105th. So you got to think about it this way. What they could have done, and tell me what you guys think. At pick 12, you could have gone Jackson Smith and Jigba. Jackson Smith and Jigba was the first wide receiver taken off the board, and I really wish they would have done this because if he even played this season, imagine where he would have went, 5th overall. I mean, he would have been so high up there. His release is so ridiculous. His route running is insane. His hips are incredibly loose. He is going to not only catch the ball, but then create havoc after he catches the ball. So I think they could have gone with Jackson Smith and Jigba with that pick. Okay, so they're saying basically he's better than Jackson Smith and Jigba, right? Then in round 2, you got pick 33. You could have kept this and gone B.J. Ojulari. I think B.J. Ojulari is going to be very close to the same level of talent as Will Anderson Jr., if not even better. I really do. B.J. Ojulari is so quick. He has so many mechanics that he can use for his weaponry to just add to that arsenal of attack. The guy is an absolute dog. Great size, good closing speed. He reads defenses or offenses very, very well. He can even go out on coverage in rare occasions, and he can do well in it. He's not a great cover. He's not going to cover great, but he is a guy that I really, really like. So you're saying he's better than Jackson Smith-Njigba and B.J. Ojulari. So then in the third round here, if you had Jackson Smith-Njigba, you wouldn't have had to gone Tank Dell. But let's just say you wanted Tank Dell anyways. You could trade up for this because it wouldn't cost you that much. It's only a third-round pick. But here you could have gone Trenton Simpson. You would have tackled 2 offensive guys and 2 defensive guys right away. I think Trenton Simpson's going to be a dog. So you still would have had your first-round pick. You would have got these guys, and you still would have had your first-round pick of next year, leaving you with 2 first-round picks. What you could have done with those is you could have been in contention for Marvin Harrison Jr., trade up, or maybe these picks aren't going to be very good. After all, we're talking about Houston and the Browns. So you could use these picks and go get Marvin Harrison Jr. The first overall pick you don't even need to go after because that's going to be Caleb Williams. You only have to get pick 2. That's all you got to do. And yeah, it's tough. It's not easy. It's like, yeah, that's all you got to do. It's really hard. Yeah, you're going to give up a lot, but you got 2 first-round picks. You could end up possibly with C.J. Stroud, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Marvin Harrison Jr., B.J. Ojulari. You could still get Tank Dell, and then you could walk away with Trenton Simpson all within these next. I mean, it would just be insane. Anyways, I could dream, I just thought of that, and I was like, man, I just would have loved it. As they were picking, I was like, I would love to see this team assembled when these guys are on the clock. It broke my heart because I just wanted to see it. You know what I mean? You know when you just want to see something, you don't even care where it's at. You're just like, I just want to see that. That's what I wanted to see. So, yeah, anyways, let us know what you guys think down below.